What goes around comes around. You've probably heard this at some point in your life. But what exactly does this even mean? And what can you do about it to make sure that what comes around is purely what you desire, purely the things that you'd like to have manifest in your reality? This is something I've experienced firsthand using two techniques I'm going to share with you in this video that I've turned into a daily practice. And if you were to do these two daily practices every night or even every couple nights, because we're not all perfect, you'll begin to see negative patterns being erased from your life. And to simply stop thinking negative thoughts is not going to solve this issue for you. So with that being said, let's get right into it. How many times have you been in a situation where you didn't want to interact with a certain type of person, or you were in a job and you didn't like that job for whatever reason, only to run away and find these patterns happening again in your life? This is something I experienced growing up, going from job to job, finding even bosses that were very similar in the way they projected themselves at me. And it all came down to the internal shifts that I had to make. Because your external reality is just a projection of your internal world. And so at the core of this, what is the mechanism? What is the thing that's storing all these things? Storing all these memories? Every time you have any kind of interaction in your life, it gets stored in what I call the subconscious record. This part of your mind, because your mind is split up into three parts, that is sort of like the womb of your reality. It's responsible for taking things, absorbing them, and then showing you the opportunities that are aligned with the way you're thinking and feeling. And so if the way you're thinking and feeling is in a negative light, it's going to show you just that, more negative opportunities showing up in your life, more negative people showing up in your life. This subconscious record is something many people are not aware of, but simply you watching this video right now, becoming aware of this yourself, will begin to bring and shine light on the light and dark parts of your life. This is something I did growing up unknowingly. I didn't know any of these laws or any of the stuff I'm sharing with you, but unconsciously I knew there were certain actions I'd taken in the past that were carrying a certain kind of energy. And what I did in those moments, growing up even, I realized there's great power in forgiveness. It's not a coincidence that many religions and belief systems really emphasize the power of forgiveness. Because so long as you haven't really forgiven somebody for the actions you've taken towards you, you carry it in your energetic field. There's even a concept in the criminal justice system called restorative justice. And the idea behind restorative justice is when there's a perpetrator, somebody who's done something wrong to another person, let's say they've sexually assaulted them or physically harmed them, as a part of their recovery process, they have to actually face the victim and have a dialogue with the victim. The perpetrator and the victim have a dialogue to resolve the conflict. And resolving the conflict and dissipating that energy that was between those two people, they can both come to a sense of forgiveness. The perpetrator can find a way to forgive themselves for the actions they've taken in the past, and the victim can find a way to forgive the perpetrator for doing whatever they did to them. Now, this is something you can practice in your own life, and it doesn't mean you have to go seek out the perpetrator in your life, because you might not have access to some of these people, or might not even want to interact with them. The idea here is when you forgive yourself for the actions and the situations and the energy that you took on, you begin to dissipate and neutralize that energy. And in doing that, you let go. And that's where the power is. The power is in letting go of these emotions, these negative thoughts that we may have held on for a long time. And that brings me to my second point, the second thing that you can do. We talk on this channel about this constructive force that's at the core of the law of attraction, which is universal life force energy. And this energy is responsible for many things. It's responsible for your entire existence. It permeates everything in your reality. It's the very ability that allows animals to do incredible things that we have a hard time wrapping around how their physical bodies could even do this. Take a bumblebee, for example. The way it's able to actually fly around is actually physically impossible. Physics says a bumblebee with that size of wings cannot fly around, yet it's able to do that. Why? Because it's in touch with this universal life force energy. So how can you use this to clear this karmic debt? How can you use this to clear this negative energy that's been stored up? Well, the thing with your subconscious mind is it's not just a record of your lifetime. It's a record of everything that even came before it. Generational traumas, things that have run through your family, is all stored in your subconscious record, your subconscious mind. The physical organ for this is your digestive, it's your solar plexus right here above your belly. And this is why many people who aren't able to forgive other people find that many years later diseases will even manifest in their gut. They'll have different kinds of, gastro, whatever you call it. I can't remember now. But there's acid reflux. There it is. Acid reflux and things like that will start to begin to happen when you're holding on to this negative energy, because you're a physical manifestation of all these things. And so the power here in using universal life force energy is this process I called negation and realization. Negation is a process that will address everything happening right now. Realization is a process that will address all the things that you've accumulated over your lifetime and maybe even before that. Negation is this process of when you have negative thoughts come into your mind, when you have negative emotions come into your body in association with a job that you don't like, a boss that you hate, a person that you don't like, you'll instantly recognize that as not your thought. You'll instantly recognize that as not a part of you. And you'll even come up with a way to reframe it in a positive light. Now, this can be really hard to do consciously because these are unconscious patterns. But in doing that, you'll begin to one by one neutralize some of these patterns that are coming up for you right now. And before you even do this, I'll ask that you make contact with this universal life force, this divine intelligence that we call God or the universe or whatever you believe in, but a sort of divine intelligence that's outside of us, that's able to help us in great ways. And by making contact with it, by saying the simple phrase, I'm one with the universal life force energy. It is flowing through me. I feel it now. And in saying that, I have a whole guide, actually a starter guide that you can use that takes you through the whole process of doing this. That is really it's changed my life. And in many ways, physically, emotionally, functionally, in many ways. Realization is the second part of this process. And it goes something like this. Select a part of your life where you see an opportunity for new growth and improvement, positive, constructive force in your life. Make contact with this universal life force energy by getting into a state of relaxation and then silence, which again, pick up that guide because it's absolutely free and it guides you through this process. And in doing that, in that silence, prompt yourself for the part of your life you'd like to see and feel new ideas come into your life, and be receptive to what comes to you. Now, it's important to have maybe a writing device, preferably just like a pen and a paper pad or something to write things down as these things are coming to you. But as these ideas begin coming to you, start writing them down. And then once you've written them down, you can look and see and be amazed at the fact that you've made, first of all, contact with the divine intelligence outside of you. But these ideas will most likely be aligned with the direction you can go. With that being said, if you want to see the actual process of how this universal life force energy works, there's a video for you right here that I'll put up here somewhere. Until next time, peace. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace out.